What's going on, guys, and welcome to Pete's Carport, another episode where we're going to be showing the RX8 and we're going to be taking some Rust-Oleum spray paint to the car. Let's go ahead and show you what I mean. Alright guys, so here it is. I went and picked up a stock hood and stock spoiler. As you can see, I still have my other hood on there because I wanted to play around with a project, and I'm extremely excited on how it came out. I had a lot of trouble with the hood. I was showing you guys that in some previous episodes. I did get the awesome hood scoop I'm going to show you in a little while, and we're going to go ahead and fix the paint that we've done to the hood, and found out the reason I was having so many issues painting the hood was because of the weather here in Florida. It has been up in the 90s almost every day, and since then, every time I try to spray, I'm getting striping. And doing research and contacting a few YouTubers, which I'm going to show you guys some links to those guys. There's some awesome guys out there. I was able to fix that issue. I waited till the temperature got down a little bit. We actually have a storm coming through above us. We're in Tampa. It's probably going to hit upper Florida. That's Hurricane Michael, if you haven't heard. So I'm trying to get this video in before we get any rain today. But I went ahead and painted this off camera because I was trying a few different techniques. I wasn't sure how it was going to come out. Every time I tried to video it, I was getting bad results. This time it finally came out really good. And this is before buffing. So I just got the final coat on yesterday. It is a satin black Rust-Oleum. I'll show you guys the paint. I'll put some links. Sorry about all the noise. The wind's starting to pick up here as well. But with no further ado, let's go ahead. We're going to get the spoiler put on. I'm going to walk you through how to take the other trunk off. Extremely easy. I believe it's 10mm bolts, but I'll fill you guys in on that. Also, we're going to be painting the third tail light here. I'm going to walk you through that. And we're going to basically do a blackout of that to where you can still see it, but when it's not being lit up, it looks like it's part of the trunk. And then I'm debating on whether to keep the emblems off, which obviously I'll have to fill the holes, or just maybe putting the actual Mazda logo, which I think looks really cool, and maybe painting that like a dark gray instead of the chrome color it is. So stay tuned. We're going to kind of go through that and come up with some ideas as we're going. All right, guys, let's do this. Okay, guys, so one of the first things we're going to do before putting this trunk back together again is we're going to black out the third tail light. And the way to do that is you got to make sure you first clean this down really well. I'm going to have to sand this, polish this, and then we're going to put a few light mist hazes of black paint on there. Let that dry, and then we're going to put a clear coat over it so that when you hit the brake light, you can still see it. But when the brake light's not being hit, it's blacked out. So let's go ahead and get started on that now. Okay, guys, so I just wanted to show you through this because my tail light was a lot worse than most of yours are probably going to be. Mine had a lot of weathering to it, so it was really cracked. So what I did was I sanded it down till all those fine little, they basically weren't cracked all the way through, but you were starting to get some basically sun spots, some sun crackling in the top coat of the plastic. And I was able to sand that out with 220 grit. Typically you're going to go with like maybe, I'm going to use a 600, you can go 600 or 800, then maybe to like a 1200 or even 1500, and then maybe a 1500 or 2000. After that, you're just going to polish it. With this small of a piece, you just use a hand polisher, and I'm going to use a heavy ultra compound here, and this is typically good taking out 1500 grit sanding, so if you go any finer than that, you'll be able to just basically rub it in and get it out. So let's go ahead and finish sanding this. I'm going to go ahead and wet sand with the next three pieces of paper, and then I'm going to polish it, and I'll show you guys the result, and we'll go ahead and start painting. Okay, now that we've got the tail light sanded down and polished, we're going to go ahead and start putting a few light coats. I'm using the Rust-Oleum semi-gloss black. You can use a matte, you can use a high gloss, depending on how you want it to look. This is going to give it, with the one I'm using, going to give it more of the finish that I'm using on the trunk, so it's going to blend. But I am going to cover it with a high gloss, or more of a high gloss top coat. So we're going to go ahead and put crystal clear enamel on top of that. That's made by Rust-Oleum. So let's go ahead. I'm going to show you how you want to put this on. It's a very light mist, and you're going to do probably 3 light mist coats. Hopefully I can get a good angle for you guys to see and still be able to paint it. Okay, so that was really it on that first coat. Now when we hit the second coat, we're going to try to get more along the edges. So we're going to start with our spray more along the edges because it looks like that first coat got the center pretty good. We're just going to hit that maybe with like one more light mist. So we're going to go ahead and let that dry about 15 minutes and come back and hit it with a second coat, and then we'll put our enamel on it, our clear coat. Alrighty guys, so we got the third brake light painted with about 2 coats of the paint, real light mist, and about 2 nice thicker coats of the clear coat. We have a little bit of marks that we can easily buff out once we buff the entire car out. We want to make sure this dries and cures. But right now I'm going to show you guys how to remove the trunk and put the new trunk on with the spoiler. Let's do that now. Okay, so first thing you want to do is open your trunk and then pull down the liner that's on each side of the trunk to reveal these 2 10mm bolts that are holding down the bracket on each side. Once you remove these bolts, you want to make sure you go back to the other side and locate the wire for the third brake light. Inside of the liner, you'll see there's an adapter that you need to pull apart. Once this adapter is pulled apart, you can pull the entire trunk off very easily. Alright, so we got the trunk all the way on. Basically, the instructions I was showing you, take those couple of 10mm bolts off on each side, undo the wire harness, it pulls right off. You slide the new one in, bolt it back up, click the wiring harness in, and you're good to go. Also, I went ahead and got this finalized with the clear coat and painted. That's our third tail light. That is hooked up. And look how good it looks. You can barely tell there's even a light there, but when we do hit the brake lights, that should shine right through. Next, I wanted to show you guys, first, the logos. I've been debating on what I'm going to do, and I was playing around with it, and found some dark gray paint that's probably going to be very close to the color of the car. And I'm going to play around with, I think what we're going to do, since we already have the holes here, is go ahead with the Mazda logo, and then we're going to move the RX8 over here to cover up those holes. We are not going to install that today, but we're going to go ahead and paint them and mock them up and see how they look. And yeah, we're going to do that now. And also, while I'm doing that, first I'm going to open up this box and unveil what we're going to be putting on the hood. So this is my hood vent. So let's go ahead and open up the box. I'll show you guys that, and that'll be on a future video, and then we'll go ahead and get these emblems painted and mock them up.